Were you given food?
But the teachers are alive. They're not books. They are the very living essences of nature itself.
What a strange person.
Unbelievably powerful supercomputer that's running our reality, and we don't have a clue as to how to operate it.
So when maybe you or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be? What's outside the simulation?
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world.
You don't know all the answers to the questions about reality. You do not claim to know the ultimate truth about God. I see that which has been made hidden. As a part of a family and explorers of consciousness. I know what not.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
Broadcasting, oh boy, from a shack on a hill in the Mossy Creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void. I'm your host, Joe Roop. Tonight, it is the Cosmic Condition Show with Mary Dusina. The Gemini New Moon is here as we head into June, and this is some big energy stuff, so we're not going to play around. Like, we're going to get right into this. I want to thank our sponsors at GetTheTea.com, also Metaphorical Archaeology, and all of the Patreon members that have helped this show out tremendously. We got to get this thing rolling. For some reason, my physical rack encoder isn't working properly, so I'm having to use the software encoder, but so I may sound a little different. I apologize about that, but only thing that matters tonight is the information. And if you, like, I don't know how you have not ever heard a Cosmic Condition Show with Mary Dusina, but for some reason, if you haven't, then you need to know that Mary's the real deal. The first psychic to be in the Tampa area, had a call-in show in the 80s back in the Tampa area, born on Halloween. The mother of Lighting the Void, I will say that proudly, a family member of ours, and has helped us through a lot of things. And I think, boy, I don't even know. I'm just going to let Mary start this off since our show has been shortened a little bit. And Mary, thank you for coming on the show. It's good to have you back.
Well, thank you for being such a good host, Joe. And this is our Gemini gathering. This is a very, very, very unusual new moon in Gemini. Couple of reasons. Just for those of you that are new or intermediate to astrology, each year we have a Gemini new moon, unless there's an anomaly, and there's two of them in Taurus or two of them in the sign after that in Cancer. But this Gemini new moon has very strong impacts with it because Gemini being the twins, Gemini's element, its energy is yang, so in the electromagnetic frequency, for those of you that are into metaphysics, it's the electro or the electric. So we're ready to plug in. So Gemini is the storyteller, the trickster, the teacher, the eager student, the one that chooses to go on vision quest, the one that searches, the one that seeks, and the one that needs to tell the tale that helped them get away from where they were once entangled. Now, when we get to the plus side of Geminian energy, it's stimulus. It's very, very quicksilver. It's ruled by Mercury, and so that's Hermes in the Greek and the Roman times, Mercury the messenger, Hermes. So it has a lot to do with don't drag me down with details, thrill me with the impact. So with Geminis, you want to get to the point. It's sales, it's marketing. It's the billboard that says, catch my attention within 2 seconds. Catch my attention with that song. Catch my attention with wordplay. So Gemini is the power of the spoken. It's speaking, learning, sharing, teaching, writing, promoting. So Gemini is the constellation of the twins, Castor and Pollux. And if you go into a real good way to get a good grasp of astrology is to go and learn the Roman or the Greek or the Arabic or the Judaic myths of the constellations. Like, what are the stories of the constellations that are up above us in the heavenly realms? So learn the story of how one of the twins of Castor and Pollux was immortal and of the heavenly realm when Zeus, the hotshot big deity, came down and decided to mate with Leah, the most beautiful woman at the time, and she bore twins, and one was from her earthly husband seed and one was from the heavenly above world's seed. So, but yet they were very compatible, and one of them being mortal when it was his time to pass, then the other twin, Pollux, who was immortal, went to Zeus and said, we do everything together. I don't want to be without my brother. And so I won't tell you all of the constellation story, but I promise you it was one of the things that really made the rhythm and the dance of the Zodiac and the thrill of the signs come alive for me. And having grown up in the South, one of the things you hear a lot in the southern mountains is certainly, back when, if you mentioned that you were studying the signs and you were reading the signs, and it was like, that's the devil, that's against God. But then when you go into, for example, one of my favorite examples to cite is when you go to, and you can look this up later because it's true, if you go to Job 38:32, it speaks about the Mazzaroth, which is from Hebrew, and the Mazzaroth, when you interpret it literally, and you'll see that in Wikipedia, it means a garland of crowns. Well, that garland of crowns ends up in the Hebraic meaning the garland of stars or the zodiacal sign. So it's the stars in the beautiful belt, the zodiacal belt, or the garland of the stars. So Mazzaroth is, and where they talk about in Job is what's being sounded by the divine forces is, can you bring forth and understand the Mazzaroth and its season? So it has to do with right there, do you understand that there are signs and the seasons for everything? And so there's all kinds of little hidden ways that there's talking about the firmament and the signs, even in a lot of the holy books. So Gemini is our third sign. Colors associated with Gemini have to do with the bright blues of the sky, and with Mercury, of course, that silvery tones, the silvery tones of colors. When you get into the aspects of what can be a minus with the Gemini energy, and each of us, as a reminder, have Gemini in all 12 signs rotating around our own Earth birth chart, which is called the natal chart. We all have all 12 of the zodiacal signs positioned in our chart. Our time of birth and our location of birth determine what the front door is. So the ascendant sign. So you learn your sun and your moon, your luminaries, and then you learn your rising, your ascendant sign. And then when you start to study the essential oils for each sign, the power attributes of each sign, you want to look at the plus and minus of Libra and the plus and minus of a Taurus moon and the plus and minus of a Scorpio. You want to read both the shadow and the light. And Gemini is all about that. It's all about looking at it from two sides, the polarity. So yin-yang, day-night. So this divisiveness that we've been seeing in 2020, this radical need to not just enjoy diving deeper into learning about what you're fascinated by, or even learning more about why you're afraid of something. Again, the duality, polarity of the Gemini mercurial mind, the curiosity of Gemini. We've amped up our anxiety, as we come to Gemini, because it's the power of words. It's disinformation as well as information. It's the manipulation of the masses. It's what are you going to believe? Are you going to believe this is a conspiracy theory? Are you going to believe it's deep state? Are you going to believe in that candidate? Are you going to believe in that ruler? And exactly what do you think happened over there? So there's this constant orbiting, rotating war on for your mind. There's a spiritual warfare that we come to understand when we get the types of aspects that are happening in 2020. And people, because January's already happened, when you don't know a lot about the rhythmic, repetitive dance of astrology, the triple conjunction and the Capricorn caravan that involves many more planets like Mars and Mercury and the new moons and the eclipses of January, just the triple conjunction hadn't happened for 736 years. So in this incarnation, it's new for all of us. And it was in Capricorn. So now as these planets are beginning to get to the end degrees of the Earth sign of Capricorn, that which wants to be the CEO or the ruler or the dictator or the power behind the throne even, who's the puppet handlers, we're going to start to see corruption collapsing. You can mark my words on that as we come into July and August, as we have the triad of eclipses that happen in June and July. This new moon is opening the portal for the summer eclipses. And the reason I brought up January is because the January eclipses, the triple conjunction in Capricorn, formed a bridge that comes nigh when we get to the summer solstice, solar eclipse, opening up the portal of Lithia, or the longest day of light in our northern hemisphere, and it's going to be at the 0 point of Moonchild Cancer the Crab. So right now is the most important time, except for late November when Saturn re-enters Aquarius and Jupiter shifts into Aquarius. We're moving into a new dominant starry element. So we're moving from this heaviness and practicality of the earth signs, and we're going to start seeking the supernatural more, getting divine guidance, being more involved with the sky world, the sacred fire of the heavens, the multidimensional realms of sacred, hallow information. Our ancestors, our elders, our beloveds in the spirit world are those that can help us with supernatural medicine start to come alive and more prevalent in our dreams, in our journaling, in our oracle work, in the way that we receive the message from the therapist or the doctor or the actual specialist. This is the time to seek that teacher of inspiration. So if you've always wanted to get deeper into yoga, now's that time to start that journey. If there's been a class that you've been putting off, whether it's online or in person, because Gemini will open up the vortex for us connecting again. Gemini is going to be like, okay, there's this new game going on out there, and everybody calls it social distancing, but in reality it's been the powers that be telling us to physically distance. The psychology and the psychological warfare behind the terms social distancing, if you really look at that literally, because I study words, is that it's telling you distance yourself from any social interactions. Don't have feelings. Don't interact. And don't smile. Don't touch your face. And don't, smile with your eyes. But keep your nose and your mouth covered up. And back up from me, at least 6 feet. And then the new outdoor Nazis, that are walking around going, you don't need to buy that. That's not essential. Or you don't have a mask on, and you don't care about me because you're not wearing a mask. There's this fear factor that's been out there to incite the people one against the other. Again, Gemini is the polarity that says enough. So what all of this plandemic that's been going on has taught us is how rarefied and how precious it is when we get together with that other beautifully made humanoid that's simply an earth temple for the majesty of all that is supernatural, all that is beyond just our earth walk. And it's time for us to, Gemini, electrically, intuitively plug into that again. So we can use study and oracles and signs and divine timing, and we can get in touch with that great therapist to help us heal any parts of ourselves that have been fractured from our past relationships or childhood storybooks. Instead of being so emotionally infected and affected by whatever was the minus in our childhood, and we all had them, it's time for us to realize that we are rewriting. This Gemini new moon is allowing us to be the director, the writer, the actor, and the producer all at once. So not just the actor or the actress on the life stage, but we can actually, by understanding how we cross the T's and dot the I's from the effects of our time before the age we are right now, wherever you're sitting and however biologically old you are, whoever and whatever has inspired or wounded you from your past, this is the most magical new moon since the Mayan effect of 2012. We had a big shift with this type of thing that ties into this actual degree point. And the Venus star point, because with this new moon, Venus is beginning, she's out of bounds with Mercury, so there's our twins for this new moon, and she's getting ready to become the morning star. So on June 3rd, even though the new moon is today, Friday, May 22nd, June 3rd is the invigorating Venus star point that ties all the way back to 2012, and that's a whole other kind of astrological study. But when we thought about the shifts of energy back in 2012, we heard a lot about that, like in 99, we heard about Y2K, but in 2012, it was like, what is this deal with the Mayan calendar? How come I keep hearing about the Mayan calendar? But it was a recalibration, it was a reset. And just look at all that's happened since 2012, and it specifically goes back to the last Venus retrograde, which was May, June of 2012, and I certainly can raise my hand and say that was a life game changer for me. For me, it started at the end of April in 2012, and it encompassed all the way into the fall of 2012. Huge shifts in my life, and most of my clients that I talk to, when I help them celestially become a time traveler and go back to these key points of with these cycles, because astrology is different than tarot and your divine guides and the archangel messages. Astrology is very yang, and it helps us understand divine timing, and it gives us kind of like a little, like math, a formula, a way to see how cycles repeat. So it can help you find your own medicine. It can help you find your own strongest elements. Are you fire? Are you air? Are you earth? Are you water? But regardless of what your dominant element is, this new moon is telling you the power of words. You are a director right now, and words can be weapons. Words can be weaponized energy tools that go out to either curse or bless. We must become aware of our word power right now. We must become more savvy and more deliberate. Saturn in Aquarius right now is trining this new moon, and it's saying, hey, I'm Saturn. You know, the bugaboo that you learn about in astrology that you worry about? Well, guess what? I'm in a very ultra-terrestrial sign right now as I'm retrograding. It's in Aquarius, and I dig this Gemini energy because I get along with the Gemini-Libra effect, so you guys are favored most right now. And so what I'm saying to you is like, oh, my God, stop looking at it from just the earthly as below aspect and improve your game. You know, improve your game. Stop throwing your power outside of yourself. Don't give your power away. The reason there's such a psychological and spiritual warfare on for your mind, there's a war on for your mind, is because the prize is your soul. And they can AI this, or they can technocrat that, or they can make all kinds of drones and robots and super soldiers all they want to. But why is it that the dark forces want that sweet part of us called the soul? So it's time for us, when all these scary things come out there and we don't know which way to go, which way to believe, or which side are you on, Saturn in Aquarius is saying, I am the portal of the Aquarian age. Whereas the shift where we were looking at our energies becoming much more accelerated, whether it was the UFO chasers or whether it was ultra-terrestrial intelligence, or we came to know our angels more, or we were astral traveling more, or our dreams started to be, our rituals, our ceremonies started to really be an anchor, a wonderful anchor in how life can get so crazy. Saturn in Aquarius and this Gemini New Moon is saying, yes, Vision Quest, get out there, test the waters, build on your idea. Whatever dreams didn't come true, there's a whole batch of new ones now saying, okay, maybe you just surpassed that. Maybe you advanced past that. Don't let the media, either side, any side, catch you up in panic. I'm calling it the panic instead of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Don't get caught up in the panic. Don't pursue the panic. Allow the pleasure and allow the richness of your soul, because we also have right now, every year, packed into this Gemini fantastic new moon, every year we also have between May 14th and May 24th the galactic lining up with the Pleiades, the seven sisters. And so they were all born from the Titan when you go back to Greek myths. So we have this lovely enhancement with Venus retrograde in Gemini right now. And so when Venus is retrograde, people think that when astrologers talk about your exes, when Venus is retrograde, an ex might come up. It's like Mercury retrograde. You're going to hear from somebody from your past. No, here's what you're going to hear. You're going to have to listen to the ghost of your past. You're going to have to listen inside your own head, words, Gemini. What is trying to haunt you with your self-talk, the way you talk to yourself, the way you shame or blame yourself, or the way that what's coming at you, what words are coming at you? Pay attention to the words that you're saying, that you're casting forth. When you look at the word gospel, it's God spell. So words cast energy and they cast spells. So sometimes the right kind of words, encouraging words, literally can shift us and heal us. People that curse too much, or people that are constantly, angry and this is going to go wrong and that's going to go wrong, that has an energy blanket that goes with it also. So I'm going to say Gemini rules the mind, so be mindful how you're speaking, what you're speaking life into. But the part of Gemini that the higher octaves of Gemini also have to do with your perceptions. So how are you perceiving? How are you being perceived? What are you receptive to now? Because now it's 2020. So even though we had a lot of tiebacks to both 2008 and 2012, now it's saying, so where are you at now with your perceptions? Where are you at now? The last time that Saturn and Jupiter did their little dance was 1981, 1982, so that Capricorn type of thing. So I promise you that the corruption of power is going to get exposed on all sides, on all fronts, anywhere on this globe. One of the things that we're seeing in the Gemini cycle as we begin to emerge and reconnect from this epic, historical, as we talked about, what will this Capricorn alignment be that all the astrologers and mystics are talking about that's just so rarefied in January? Well, Capricorn rules those that want to get power over the people. I don't think I have to explain that one any further. Capricorn rules the power elite that want to control we the people. And I promise you, once Mars, which is in Pisces right now with Neptune kind of clashing with this Gemini stuff, saying you're too much in your head, Gemini rules the nerves, Gemini rules the lungs and the respiratory system. What's this plague supposed to be doing? It's supposed to be affecting the lungs and your ability to breathe clear. So it's literally trying to interfere with the life force. And by the way, when you're driving your car and you're outside, put a mask on too. No, I'm going to have my fresh air, thank you. I'm going to clear my lungs. So the symbology of that metaphysically is what's causing you not to relax and inhale and breathe in this life. The body is the temple for the jewel of your soul. So breathing exercises, meditating, stop being so in your head and so much on the techno and checking your messages and swiping left and scrolling and constantly texting. Now you're going to think this is old-fashioned, but this Gemini new moon is saying get back on the phone. Talk to each other. Feel the vibrations of the pitch and the timbre of your voice. Fall asleep with each other if you're in love on the phone, not just the text, not just the Zoom, not just the online. connect with your vibrations. Your auric vibrations come through with the pitch and the timbre and the sound of your voice and what gets you excited in your voice. It's melodic. That's why every generation has a certain music that they're drawn to. So this Gemini is saying it's time to let go of the old way. I'm not saying throw out everything, but it's this conjunction in air signs hasn't happened in over 200 years. So there are times that we need to let go of our past, especially with all that Capricorn drudgery, and the air signs of the wind are the winds of change. And this cycle is going 2020 into 2199. We have a long shift into the higher consciousness. And believe it or not, your faith, whatever that is, your faith is going to be your lodestar. It's going to be what's governing you. It's going to be the power that helps you deal with Mars. When Mars when it starts getting into July and it goes home, it's been 2 years since Mars has been in its home harbor in Aries, and it's going to retrograde in September. So when we start getting these at the end of the year squares between the Capricorn to the Libra to the Mars and Aries, I promise you, we the people are going to rise up. They're going to rise up, just this week. Just this week, as we got into the Gemini energies, the different types of churches are saying, wait a minute. Liquor stores were never shut down, and they were considered essential, and they've been packed. Just watching the liquor stores, people walked in without masks. Maybe the workers had to have masks because they worked there, but they were packed, and people were coming in and out, and they weren't 6 feet apart and all that, and you've closed all the churches. And when the governments of the world can start to control the gatherings of we the people, of the things that inspire them, like music or singing or your own ideology, your own ability to have concerts and go out and socially interact and actually meet and greet new energies instead of just you stay home and go to your room and don't come out. I'm telling you, we were good little patriots and we did what we needed to do, and they kind of spooked us because it never happened before in history. But the nodal cycle that we're in right now goes all the way back to 2001 when we had the Twin Towers hit. And America had not been attacked like that by a foreign element. And what did that let loose? Even more divisiveness of a foreign land coming in. So Gemini, the tongue. Don't be a quick-silvered devil tongue and just say anything to appease somebody to buy yourself some time. Time, Gemini. Silver tongue, quick silvered tongue of the devil type of a thing. So it's your perceptions, it's your integrity, it's how others can tell you come across, how you perceive yourself to be received by others. The best of this Gemini new moon, because keep in mind, the Gemini new moon yearly goes from this Gemini new moon to the next Gemini new moon of 2021. So we're entering a brand new year-long cycle of Mercury, a brand new year-long cycle of what did you learn the last year versus what you're going to embrace and want to come to know more about that person, more about that teaching, more about that skill set. This is the time to load your tool belt. This is the time to say, you know what, in late May, June, I'm going to dive in. It's not just going to be my big toe getting wet in the water. I'm going to dive in. This is something that I know. It's a calling. My soul is interested and excited about doing this, and I'm going to take more responsibility for my style of marketing and sales and communications, and say what you mean and do what you say. That's the best part of Gemini. It's the best of it. And the worst of it is manipulating the con artists, the schemers, and the liars.
Yeah.
How about that?
How about that? Right. Like, we didn't even warn folks you were going to get that intense, Mary. It's, but there is a verse in the Bible too. You know how you're talking about Job and Mazzaroth and all that. Do you remember that verse where it says, and a sword came out of his mouth, and it was and it talked about the sharp edges, like the two-edged sword?
Yes.
I think
that can even be the Ace of Swords in the tarot.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with, there's so many astrological correspondences in Scripture. It's crazy. Seriously. Look that up on the internet. You will be bathed in fascination. So Gemini is for example, Joe, Gemini is about what's charming,
about Joe, and I'll be the first to say, ladies, a lot, but what's charming about Joe, what's fascinating about what you bring to the table with the way that you want to, it isn't always that Joe has to deliver the message or I have to deliver the message or all the other wonderful guests and callers that he has on the show that we build in a light tribe here, but how is it that we can receive? You know, we're not just speakers. Like in an audio system, we also have receivers and amplifiers and connectors and chargers. So that's what Gemini is all about. It is, I'm going to boldly go where no man has gone before. You know, it's like, I'm going to do this. Now, I promise you, like this Wednesday, it's not been a main feature in the news, but for the first time, and I forget how many years, I want to say since, again, 2010 or 2011, they're going to launch astronauts at the Cape Canaveral, Brevard County, Florida Space Center. And because of this pandemic, NASA's debating on really letting people come and watch the launch. And I can tell you, I lived there, and going there and actually being there when these rockets lift off and you're right there across from the VAB at the launch pad, and you have special passes to get in there, which I got to have because my dad worked and retired from NASA. And when you get there, and you see those astronauts board and you watch the T-minus 10 seconds and the whole crowd starts counting, it is one of the most magical things to visually take in. So again, space, air, just 10 days ago, they unrolled the flag for the new insignia of the new branch of the military, as they called it, called Space Force. So there's going to be so much activity going on with what's going on in space and asteroids and comets. It's been a busy year for that too, and Elon Musk and SpaceX and all this kind of stuff that's taking off. So I want you to get your eyes to the skies more. Those of you that have been too much with your head down on the news or on your smart devices, look up, because this Gemini with this Saturn in Aquarius, UFO hunters, it's not so much a Bigfoot year or a cryptid. It's more to do with the sky. It's more to do with the unidentified oceanic objects and unidentified air objects. There's a lot going on above our heads. Gemini and the air signs remind us it's as above, so below. And those of you that have been waiting to hear from one of your beloveds that died, you've been wanting to not just do a DNA and me kit, that you really want to mystically get in touch with your watchmen archangels and your ancestral guides that have influenced your lineage for this incarnation, that's all activated as well. It's just powerful. And any Venus retrograde, speaking about quarantines, Joe, any Venus retrograde cycle, ready, is the minimum of 40 days and 40 nights. This one's a little longer. 40 days and 40 nights. So here we go again with the quarantine vibration. And corona means a crown. So I want you to think about what your crowning glory is. Biblically, again, they talk about, the crowning glory. The reason a lot of certain very religious sects either cover their heads or don't cut their hair, and a lot of different very specific beliefs, is because they see that, they anoint the feet and the hair with oil. So our crown chakras are being activated. And anything that's symbolic of a crown, whether it's the glowing halo around Yeshua, Jesus, or Buddha, or Krishna, or the angelic, aurora that's above the heads of the angels, the glowing radiations of light that's coming out of the higher chakras, that's being activated for us as well. So this is about the gathering of Gemini momentum. It's about what encourages you, what empowers you, and when's the last time you really looked in the mirror and said to yourself, you know what, I think I'm really ready for some enlightenment. I'm really ready for an epiphany. I'm really ready to be kinder, and I want to invite kindness in my world. And like one person that does that, since this is coming into Memorial Day weekend, I've seen him many times in a lecture. He's a Cancer Leo blend, Dan Brinkley, which back when all this stuff was still woo-woo, he was an active Marine. He wrote the book Saved by the Light. And he, even though he had several death experiences and connected up with Dr. Raymond Moody, who wrote Many Lives, type of things like Brian Weiss, Dan Brinkley decided to embrace working in hospice for veterans. So rather than just being the killer hitman when he was actually in the Marines and coming out, by his own words, to be a real jerk, only he uses stronger words when you see him in a lecture, he decided he was ready to die. He liked what he saw. when he was struck by lightning, and then he died a couple times on the table of a heart attack, and he goes, really, again, you're not going to let me go yet? But he had all these visions. But what he decided to do for the rest of his days on Earth is to form an organization that he named CIA, Compassion in Action. And he specifically wanted to target that with people that were military that were going to be in hospice and die, and that's who he works with, and that's his whole formation of what he does, and he has a whole big volunteer thing that does it. And I always try to mention him around Memorial Day because he's boots on the ground doing it, even though, like he said, I was ready to die any of the 3 times I went, but it shifted his life. So he said, talk about literally lightning striking you and changing your life. So this new moon ties into, even biblically, where it says, and in the twinkling of an eye, it was changed. So as fast as you can snap your fingers is as fast as your life can shift in an immortal way with people that will change your life, your interaction with them, what you study from them, the class you take, the meeting that you have with them, the love that you share between you. Your entire landscape of this incarnation can change between now and July 5th. That's now and July 5th. Because this new moon in 2 weeks, we have the first of our trilogy of powerful eclipses. June 5th, because we're talking about June, will be the full moon in Sagittarius. It's known as the final of the 3 ascended master moons that occur once a year. First one is the Christ moon, and the one in Libra. The second one is the Vesak Buddha moon. And this full moon coming up on June 5th in Sagittarius is a heightened awareness of the divine guides if one just sits and opens to it. So it's where East meets West. And so Sagittarius is kind of like that commercial that's on right now by the motor, where the guy's like half human and half motorcycle. You know, it's like the new version, the 2020 version of the Sagittarian Centaur. You know, and in the commercial, these young guys are looking at him, and they're like, do you ever wish you weren't a motor? And he just looks at them like, no. So it's like the horsepower became a motorcycle underneath it's half man, half motorcycle in the motor commercial. So this is like, what's fueling you? Faith is a fuel. So first step, while Venus is retrograde for the 40 days and 40 nights, and Mercury's going to turn retrograde, you know, when we get later on in June. So change first what you say and what you think of yourself, because Gemini can be the circus. So 2020, the circus shuts down. The animals that were performing animals got set free. There's no more chained elephant rides where the guy's whipping the elephant with a stick. And the 4 signs that are most influenced as we come into and prior to the summer solstice is going to be Gemini and the Gemini area in our chart. So it's where we will have to wherever Gemini is in your chart before we get to the signs, it's where we're all going to have to turn and face our anxiety. Avoiding the issues that have been causing us anxiety isn't going to be a recipe or a formula or a medicine that takes us higher anymore. We've simply got to turn and address it. We've got to turn and face it, 2 sides of the face, the side that wants to turn away from it and the side that turns around and says, okay, it's time for a win-win. We have to address this. I'm not going to avoid or run from this anymore. This is eclipsing my life, my emotional life, my intimate life, my personal beliefs about myself. So Gemini is going to be about seeing what, who, where, or how we've been granting permission with our perception. Gemini is also what we perceive and how we form our beliefs and perceptions. What's been holding me back? What's been holding me back? Where have I been getting in my own way by not dealing with what I allow to be less than what I deserve or I want? And we're not blaming anybody. It's just looking at the what is. If you're a Virgo, are you allowing your own feelings to become a part of and to be involved with the major life decisions that you're choosing? Virgos, you're living your legacy right now. I don't care if you're 12 years old. With Virgo right now, you're forming the soul contract, awareness, and awakening. Most Virgos make decisions based on good, sound, common sense, and logic, where Virgo's the analytical one. Its opposite sign, Pisces, is the one that just shuts down when it doesn't work for them anymore, because Pisces, if they don't feel enchanted, then they get frustrated. And they run away. They escape and hunker down. But for Virgo right now, between now in that final lunar eclipse of July 5th, are you allowing your feelings to finally get out of your head and allow your feelings to come into the life decisions and the shifts that you're wanting to make? So a lot of Virgos may be thinking about buying a house or shifting the location that they're in or who they're living with, but you've got to allow those feelings to come into it, not just the right lawyer or the real estate agent or the mortgage broker. That's like where Virgo likes to go, and they're really good at it. They're really good at getting order out of chaos. But the chaos for Virgo is that they don't own their feelings. So their opposite sign, Pisces wants to escape. It's like Pisces is having a hard time right now escaping their inner demons or their inner ghost or the lectures from the inner self. They've got some pressures. They've got some guilt factors. Externally for Pisces, it's got to do with what's haunting them for what they didn't do right in their family or their relative. Like Pisces are saying things like, well, they're gone now, and I wish I would have said more about that with my mama or my papa before they left, or, my aunt or my uncle. I wished I would have, told their dark little secret, and saved that kid or done this or that. So where Pisces held back, they're kind of like having to relive that and release that. For Pisces, there's something that's got to be healed in a psychological way. And with Sagittarius, because I'm doing the mutable signs first, with Sagittarius right now, the excitement is no one can hide whether they're your friend or your foe. So there's the duality for Sagittarius, because when the sun and the planets are dancing along in the Peter Pan sign of Gemini, Captain Hook from the Peter Pan story, Captain Hook is the Sagittarius part of it. So he's got the tick-tock, and there's like the alligator that ate his hand, and he's got a hook for a hand, but he's still a pirate, and Sagittarius still likes to be a pirate on the high seas. Only for right now, we're spelling C instead of S-E-A. There's some things that Sagittarius has to look at, so they're having to be on the high seas, S-E-E. They have to see it from a different perspective. And Tinkerbell, believe it or not, is that little Saturn in Aquarius right now. Tinkerbell's like, I told you, I'll whip you, I'll disappear, I'll throw a little temper tantrum. So it's like Tinkerbell's trying to be the voice of reason and the discernment. So if you're a Sagittarius or you're a Sagittarius rising, big wake-up calls and revelatory moments and involving the motives or the truths of other people. Like, are they living up to their word? Is their word their magic wand, or is it something that's they're just putting out there as a false flag? So for Sagittarius and for Gemini, they're dealing with what's my emptiness. Anything retrograde that involves our feelings and emotions like Venus is what we've got to view differently. We've got to review it, and we've got to start looking at what's our definition of life, what's my meaning of life, and what would I rewrite with that script, because this is the time to do it. This is the time that, I promise you, this is such a powerful new moon that it's your ideas and your ideals are marrying. That, this is like take action, like Aries and Gemini and Leo are take action signs. And so this is the new moon that says, oh my God, get away from the TV, get away from the computer, get out, get out and circulate. Your lungs and your blood have to circulate. This is an activation of the pineal gland, because Mars and Neptune in Pisces are squaring, and it's throwing us right back up into our crown chakra and our most psychic center. And it's like, listen and discern what's truth for you. Forget about anybody else trying to sell their idea or their panic or their fear or their rules or their regulations, and forget other people telling you about the way you are. What's your perception, and what might you learn about yourself that you could go through an upgrade? And speaking of words, let me give you one of the most powerful prayers that'll be the easiest thing you can memorize. And it just has 3 main words. Help. Help me now. Thank you. So when you get in a quagmire, when you feel like you're getting twisted up and there's tornadoes going on inside you, just close your eyes and breathe and just feel however you need to feel that you're summoning forth the divine source, the divine lights, the supernatural agents of your heart chakra and your soul commingling. Help. Help me now. Thank you. And then, as we say in Italian, forget about it. because you've activated it by your words. You've literally asked, so you will receive. You've asked for help. You've asked for the help to come now, and you've done the most important thing. You gave thanks. You've gave thanks. So what we're to summarize, the air signs are the winds of change. So faith is invisible, but yet it's a viable force. So I'll go through the signs, unless you want to take a break first, Joe.
I think we can go through them. Yeah, we got time. If we don't, I'll stop you halfway or something. We got time now.
Okay, honey. Okay. So for the sign that's kind of tender right now is Moonchild Cancer. Now, why is that? Joe and I have talked about before when we try to teach a little bit on each show, whatever sign is current, like with the new moon, that opens up that whole monthly cycle of what's emphasized, what's the cosmic condition that's most emphasized, what's the theme. We talked about beliefs, perceptions, the image that you're casting forth of yourself, and is it reliable, or is it speaking about masks that everybody are wearing? Or are you a false face? Even when you take the mask off, are you false? I mean, you just say things that you don't plan on delivering or doing, or you're dragging your butt on. I mean, are you giving people lip service and that you're not following through? I mean, we all have things that get in the way, but if you are consistently procrastinating, then that's one aspect of being a false face. Just own your truth and do what you say you're going to do. So with Gemini right now, the spotlight is on Gemini and Gemini in our charts. If we have planets in Gemini or Sag, because they're opposite each other, and the yang element of us to be more active and to take action is going on all month. But if you're a Cancer, the sign that's before your main sun sign or your rising sign is known as your 12th house teacher, your 12th house sign. And it's the subconscious, and it's the past lives, and it's the perspective that can tend to eclipse or impede you. So right now with people that are born under the sign of Cancer, or they have a Cancer rising or a Cancer moon, Gemini stirs up a little Tasmanian devil in there. It stirs up the stuff that get your goat or make you flare or make you flash, because Gemini is like, why do you do that? What's that about? How are you going to get past it? It's kind of like that monkey mind kind of stuff, and you may not be speaking it out loud. But if you've got a Cancer rising sign or your birthday falls under the sign of Moonchild Cancer between June 20th, 21st and July 20th, 21st, then this is your one time in a whole year cycle. You haven't had this cycle since last May, June. So if you're a Cancer moon, rising, or sun sign, you're really looking at faith versus fear. And it's not a good idea for you to be keeping score. It's where's the faith in yourself to go do really movable feast type of a things. If you've got Cancer prominent in your Cancer moonchild, it's all about the deep waves of feelings and emotions, and the water signs are energy put into motion. How do they block the energy to go into motion? Dam it up. How does the water get blocked? How does the water element or the feelings get to flow, if they get to flow? So right now, Cancerian heavy influence in the celestial birth chart of Cancer the Crab, aka Moonchild, is where you're blocking your flow of the feelings that want to let go. That's what Cancer is all about, feelings. I'm not doing it till I'm in the mood. I don't feel that yet. So Cancerians, they can talk with great words, and they think as well as anybody else, but they don't act on anything until they feel it. And they tend to what? Cancer the Crab, they tend to sideswipe it, look the other way, or retreat, or walk backwards. So right now, the Gemini is saying, that's going on in their solar and natal charts, is saying, no, you've got to express it, you've got to expel it, you've got to invite it, or you've got to own it. And for Cancers, I would say the choices that you make or the choices that you don't make are equaling the consequences that are manifesting. Gemini is, to me, one of the tarot cards that fits Gemini is the Magician. I know the traditional tarot teaching is the Lovers, because it's got Archangel Raphael above it, and it's all about how we connect and plug in to the yin-yang. But the Quicksilver ability to manifest the cycle of Gemini, not necessarily the person of Gemini, But the cycle of Gemini to me this year is more the Magician. So let's just combine them. Let's say it's the Lover's card, but when we get past that duality of he said, she said, she said, she said, whatever, is the Magician just saying, I have my magic wand. My word is my wand, and I'm going to cast now. I'm going to cast. So if you're a Leo, Leos are kind of asking, the mindset for Leo is like, where do I belong now? So Leos are examining self-acceptance. It's in their 11th house. They've got a longing to belong. That's probably the word play I want to do for Leo sun signs or Leo rising signs. It's like self-acceptance, doing a self-examination, like a self-check, self-test. But the two words that kept coming to me psychically for the Leo factor was, I'm longing to belong. Where do I belong? And I even got the psychic image of like the dog that was found on the street, and there was a good Samaritan kind enough at least to take it to the shelter so at least it would get a meal and at least it would have shelter. But the dog longingly looks at every person that comes into the shelter, or the cat, and looks and it's like, is it you? Can I go home with you? Do I belong with you? Do I belong with anyone anymore, or is this it? Are these people, these volunteers, going to be who will love me for the rest of my doggy or my kitty life? So that's kind of what's going on with Leo. With Virgo, which I'll mention very lightly because I talked about the mutable signs, it's how power plays in your life and what holds control on you. So there's some different decisions, as I said, living out their legacy. So for Virgo, I'm just going to say what dictates your life, and the choices now must include feelings. For Libra, it's a ninth solar impact. Libras are looking for the win-win deals. It's like for Libra, I saw, is it a win-win or is it foul play? So with Libras, while Venus is retrograde, until we get to that, I really like June 3rd, but until we get to like June 25th, or really maybe even June 29th, I would say try not to push someone to sign on the dotted line or to make major commitments if you've got strong Libra in your chart. And Libra's questioning their beliefs, which can be good. If the beliefs that you've held for the last 20 years aren't really getting you what you want with money or love or the right kind of friendship or the right kind of partner, then it's good for you to say, well, I used to believe that. I don't believe that anymore. That didn't get me anywhere. Or I used to believe I needed to show up like this, or I needed to act like this, or they needed to be like this. And if that's not been working over the last 10 or 11 years, then it's time for you to re-examine your beliefs and change them. If you're a Scorpio's got to dive down the mystical rabbit hole right now. There's some supernatural impacts. The plus of that is the supernatural assistance and revelation. The minus is if they get lost in the darker, sinister temptations. It goes back to 2012, 8 years ago for Scorpios. And there's different ways to trust or not. And what do you trust, and are you a trustworthy type of person? So trust is a big, big currency. And if you don't trust somebody and you don't feel like that you're building trust with somebody, you need to bail. You need to you talk about social distancing, you need to feeling distance that person, because if someone's not got your best interest at heart, they're really just thinking about them. So they're just trusting on what they can get. They're trusting on how it can just serve them instead of being able to be a trustworthy ambassador. So I feel like for the good Scorpios, it's a very expansive, lovely cycle. But if you're sinister Scorpios, I'm going to enjoy watching you trip and fall on your own feet. Just saying. Okay, so if you're Sagittarius,
wait, hold on. So the good, and so you said everything has a positive and negative side, right? Like
absolutely.
So good Scorpio energy needs to expand and trust.
The good Scorpio energy is going to take a deeper dive as a mystic. They're going to go down the mystical rabbit hole. They're going to be happy to say, yeah, give me that pill that lets me see things I didn't ever think I could comprehend before.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the red pill. But the sinister Scorpios, the ones that lure people and act like they have good intentions, or act like that you can trust them, drop kick your ass, those are the ones that are going to trip on their own 2 feet or trip on their own lies. And I'm as a mystic and a Scorpio, I'm going to go, ha, gotcha. Okay. I enjoy that. And I can say it because I'm a Scorpio.
Why
and
do
I
you
can
do
say
that,
it.
Mary? That's so evil. You don't do that.
No. No, I'm a Scorpio that has a stellium in Scorpio, and I remember being 14 years old and reading about all those planets in Scorpio going, oh, damn, why did I choose that this lifetime? Not only do I have all this to go through, but people don't even think about Scorpios in a good way. And then on top of that, I'm born Halloween night. Really? Okay, so the first thing they said for Scorpio when I was reading Liz Green and some of the older astrologers and Isabel Hickey was Scorpio must first contend with their own inner demons and the way that they allow temptation to take them off the path. You must deal with your own darkness if you come in as a Scorpio. Otherwise, the darkness becomes your master. And I did, and I accomplished it, and I am a good, loving person, but I take no prisoners. I suffer okay. So, I'm not the one that's afraid to go up against a Scorpio either. Most people are. I just look at them all like, yeah, bring it. I got 5 things in Scorpio. You want to play? Sad ass? Fry! Okay, so Sagittarius there's a partnership, relationship dynamic, and I feel like that divine source is wanting you to merge. It's a not-for-profit type of a thing for Sagittarius. It's about how can you organize your priorities, because Sagittarius, no matter what job they're in, no matter what state or country they live in, they always look at the end game or the broader picture. The South Node is in Sagittarius right now, and that's what's got people, whether it's a Greta Thunberg or this politician or that, or the people that are never Trumpers or the ones that are, I'm just a Democrat, I'm just whatever. That's what's got all this political fight going on and the foreign fire. That's whether it's China or Russia or whatever it is, or Iran. It's like when the South Node is in Sagittarius, it's not tolerant of foreign cultures. It's not. It's not tolerant. But what it does for each of us to say is, when's the last time you did a little checklist on whether your beliefs that you've been holding are good for you? That's where we're all growing to the South Node right now. What do you believe? And it's okay if you believe it. Don't shove it down anybody else's throat. Don't get so dictatorial about it. You know, if you want to believe it, then go demonstrate that by your actions. Actions speak louder than words. So if Gemini is the wordplay, Sagittarius is the action, and that's where the nodes are right now. So if you're Capricorn, it's a 6th house thing, so you got to focus on your health versus your stress. For Capricorn, it's the stress that will impact or affect your health and your energies. Whatever a Capricorn is at ease with, they've got to get into the knowing that what you feel is good enough. Capricorns right now need to let themselves know that they're good enough. If you're Aquarius, it's 5th house. Saturn is there, retrograde. It's time to ask, if you're an Aquarian, what type of leader are you versus what type of leader do you want to be? So if you're a teacher and a student, to me they're one and the same, how do you submit versus apply your truth? So with Aquarius right now, there's a new creative interplay going on. For Pisces, 2 more. For Pisces, it's the 4th house. Again, I talked about the past guilts, realizing your involvement in someone else getting hurt with the relatives or the family. And I just see Pisces in general trying to right things. It's like sometimes Pisces try to ignore when they were hateful or condescending or abusive, or they looked the other way when something was an injustice. And I feel like that's haunting Pisces right now, and they're really trying to get out of their own self-imposed prison or judgments. If you're an Aries, Gemini is your 3rd house. It's self-talk and how you show up with your beliefs, how you express yourself. It's time to improve your word game. It's time to not, keep the best of the best. If you're born up in New York, keep the best of the New York funny sayings and the actual pronunciation the way New Yorkers do it, or Boston, or far out, if you're a surfer type of thing, or if you're Southern, so keep the best of it. But Aries need to work on being more humorous and more creative, and their invitation of other people to want to be around them and spend time with them has got to do with a kind, sincere desire to lighten up their own attitude about their own stress and their own self, as well as to engage others. So it's a different school of expression. It's a different way of letting those thought arrows or those word spears to get out there. Stop overthinking Aries right now, they're overthinking. They're caught in the a-hole of analysis. It's just like, oh, my God, get out. You're sinking. You can't even keep your head above water because you're overthinking everything. So it's like with Aries, the minus of it is they're too stuck on, why did I say that? Why do I think that about myself? Do I even listen to my own self-talk? Why am I always so in doubt of what can happen for me? Because Gemini stimulates the third house. So if Aries starts the zodiac and it's always on the right ascension, then Gemini is your third house because Aries starts the signs. So it's strongest. You would think it's strongest for Gemini. But really, since Aries starts the zodiac and Aries is the child of the zodiac, Gemini affects you the most right now in this communication cycle. So it's like, get your game better, improve your game. Male or female Aries, improve your game and really monitor those words, because for an Aries right now, the words that you're throwing out there, if you think you're going to throw out sarcasm and it's not going to come back to bite you in ways that you didn't imagine, it will. So tone it down, calm it down, breathe, meditate, go walk in nature, do something, take yoga, do something, sing music. If you're a Taurus, Gemini is hitting because we just had Taurus before Gemini, so it's the what's the energetic currency for you? This is our last sign. It's a material world type of a thing, revenue, the venue of your money, and Taurus are wanting to organize, like they're wanting to get all the tags for their cars, and they're wanting to get all the papers in order, and I need to go talk to the bank about should that money be there with everything that's going on with the shutdown of the economy. Like Taurus and Virgo right now, they're really thinking about, okay, where is a safe investment? I don't think I want to be in the stock market. What's a new thing? Like maybe if I was going to be in stock at all, maybe I want to invest in a toilet paper company. Yeah. Or alcohol or peroxide. Maybe I want to invest in cleaning products. Maybe I want to open up a sanitation company as a side thing. Yeah. So Taurus is thinking about what's the juicy investments coming up with the way the world is shifting. Because right now it's not the airlines, it's not the cruise ships, those have enjoyed prosperity for a long time. I mean, people don't think twice about, I want to go over there, I'll just book a flight and I'll go. But right now it's just like,
I'll tell all you Taurans we're going to take our break here. Is that it?
Yep.
So we can start taking calls. I'll tell all you Taurans right now, pajamas and bicycles.
Pajamas. Oh yeah, bicycles. You're right. I just read. Yeah, you're right. Even in Knoxville, Tennessee, they had to go up north to buy bicycles because the bike shop, he does repair and bikes, and he said, I had to go up north and buy bicycles. Everybody's wanting bicycles now.
We'll be right back. We'll start taking your calls. Stay with us. Mary Dusina's here with us.
This is Rev Dan Lopez from Spiritual Warrior Today Radio, and you're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Gravity. When wanting to walk around on the side of our planet without inconveniently being flung to the far reaches of the solar system, more people choose gravity than any other force in the universe. So remember, when something has got you down, it's probably gravity. Clean, dependable, low maintenance Gravity.
Hi, this is David Oman with HouseAtTheEndOfTheDrive.com. You're listening to KTLK, The Fringe FM.
Do you want to know the truth? Are UFOs real? Are aliens visiting Earth? Are governments around the world hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO Seekers, official partner of the Fringe FM, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Join us as we investigate locations like Area 51 by subscribing on YouTube at youtube.com/UFO Seekers.
Hi, this is Kronox from Belgium, and you're listening to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop.
This portion of the program is being brought to you by Ed's International Condominium of Pancakes. Remember, at Ed's, it's hard to tell which is thicker, your pancakes or the dust on your silverware.
Hey, Fringe FM listeners. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or no Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of the Fringe FM by calling 701-719-3971. No smartphone app or internet needed. Saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Call 701-719-3971. That's 701-719-3971. Listen to the Fringe FM on any phone, anytime, anywhere.
Alex Exum.
This is Alex Exum of the Exum Experience in Live Talk, where we discuss current events, society, and culture. My shows are based in actuality, actual existence, contrasted with what was intended, expected, or believed. You can listen to me live Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 7 p.m. only on KTLK, The Fringe FM.
Have you suffered in silence or experienced stress from a paranormal experience? Even if it happened 20 years ago, when thinking or talking about it today still makes you feel sick to your stomach or makes your heart beat faster, or you suddenly can't breathe. Maybe you even feel those old familiar signs of a panic attack trying to reach the surface. You could have unprocessed emotional responses. Those reactions of terror and trauma are no different than living through a horrible assault, childhood abuse, or a terrible car accident. It can be nearly impossible to find help. The very instance of seeing a ghost or encountering a cryptid could be clinically described as seeing or hearing things that aren't there. You could be considered psychotic, or at best, you're just not taken seriously. Out of a growing mountain of research, the National Institute for Integrative Healthcare showed that 8 out of 10 veterans who completed just 6 one-hour EFT sessions no longer tested positive for PTSD. If you've had paranormal trauma, you can contact Metaphorical Archaeology by calling 214-995-3754. Again, that's 214-995-3754. for a discreet consultation.
Mr. Walton, did you make contact with aliens? Were you taken to another planet, to a mothership? How did they communicate with you? Can you tell me what they look like? Can you tell me how many of them there were? Were you given food?
But the teachers are alive. They're not books. They are the very living essences of nature itself.
What a strange person.
Unbelievably powerful supercomputer that's running our reality, and we don't have a clue as to how to operate it.
So when maybe you or somebody else creates an AGI system and you get to ask her one question, what would that question be?
What's outside the simulation?
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world.
Do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. Do not claim to know the ultimate truth about God. I see that which has been made hidden. It's a part of a family that explores the consciousness.
Welcome to Lighting the Void.
All right, welcome back to our second hour here in Lighting the Void. We are live on the Fringe FM. It is Cosmic Conditions with Mary Dusina. The phones are blowing up. If you want to call in, it's 1-800-588-0335. You can call in. Now we got 4 lines. If you don't make it through, just keep calling. Because it's your one chance to get a psychic reading from somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about, right? So, here we go, right? Around the table we go, right? So, let's see. Got the phones blowing up on me and I got too many screens open. That's the thing. All right, so let's see. Who do we have first? We've got 620 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, Mary. Hi, Joe. This is Ashley from Southeast Kansas. How are you guys?
Yay! It's Kansas. It's Toto land. We're in Kansas with Ashley. Do you have a question, my dear, or do you have a report to give Joe and I from another reading, or would you just like a card?
Well, you guys know I've been calling in, and I've finally got moved into my house. You know, everything is settling, and I'm just not sure how I feel about everything. And you've really been spot on, so I was just kind of wanting some guidance to, you know, cut out that negative self-talk.
Atta girl. See, she's been listening. See, she gets major points. She used some of the words back that we prophesied. Way to go. If you listen to the prognostication. Yeah, big time. Mystic points. You got big mystic points. So the card I got for you is the element of fire. So you're having like post-event jitters because you expended so much energy to make the radical shift. And the card that you got is a card of illumination. The aces and the tarot deck are divine messengers of like booyah. So you've got, it's like they bring gifts, you know, they bring supernatural gifts. So you have the ace of, in some decks it's called the wands in the traditional decks. In the deck I'm using tonight, the Morgan Greer deck, it's called rods. So it's a magic wand, or it's the antenna or the rod of how spirit gets the frequency message to you. So the ace of rods speaks to you about now that you've expended all this physical energy and they're organizing and all of that, and you made this shift, and you're kind of like doing that, okay, now I got to kind of process everything. The ace of rods is like, yeah, not for too long, because by the first week of June, we're activating the portals within your chakras that have to do with inspiration, what inspires you, what will get you inspired, and it's time to we've added fuel in your tank of your aspirations. So you're going to be having that feeling of the fun fire, the creative fire, you know, it's like things that attract you. You know, how we get the warm fuzzies by the ceremonial fire when we go in camping and we've got a little campfire and we're telling campfire stories, whether that reaches back into your childhood, or it has to do with you answering the question now of who would I like to have a little campfire or a little kiva fire with, or, you know, get those little nice wrought iron things or metal things and have a safe little fire out of my own yard. Who would I like to invite over for s'mores? You know, who would I like to have time with around a fire? Because the fire has to do with our desire. So you've needed this processing time. You've needed to kind of decompress because you went on like full bore there for a while. And so what Spirit's telling me is, Ashley, just love your vortex now, because you changed. So you got to put some energy into the new place. You got to, like, you know, I don't care if you expended most of your finances, and just when you go out to a place, like buy one little beach towel that's the colors that you want, or, you know, go get a little new curtain rod or a new color of a candle. It doesn't have to be expensive, or a little crystal, pocket crystal, but you need to recharge and start to, like, you know, when we first move somewhere, a lot of things are new. There isn't, we may like the look of the city or the landscape, like, oh, palm trees, mountains, but we need to kind of put our own energy signature into the vortex. So you opened a portal, you stepped through, now you need to give it the love. You know, you need to give it the love. So it's okay if you're kind of like, okay, I don't know really what I think about this. It's because you really haven't had time. You know, you had a lot to do and a lot of things to take out and put somewhere else, a lot of physical labor and getting all that settled. So now, as we come into especially this new moon into the full moon lunar eclipse of Sagittarius, find a way to go, whether you take a white sage and you open up the windows and smudge and sage your place, or get some frankincense and dilute it and go spray the corners of your new place. But you need to be able to put your signature in there, your scent, your signature, the colors that you like, the love. You got to give it the love, Ashley. You got to give it the love.
And I've been trying to do that. I've been buying, random things for the house to try to make it more homey, and it's kind of strange, being with somebody for so long, and you've kind of always asked them what they wanted, and you kind of forget truly, what you like when it comes to decor, or, just what you want to do in the evenings, or what you want to eat. It's just, really
what that's called?
relearning
That's called
myself again.
Liberation, freedom. So when we're with a partner all the time and we're pretty much letting them be the director, right? Remember I told you it needs to be a win-win, right?
Yeah.
It's sometimes them, sometimes
Yeah.
you. So just to your point, you said, God, when you're with somebody for a really long time and all of a sudden it's like, okay, what kind of decor do I like now? Not necessarily what Ashley always lived in her childhood, but now you have free reign to start. If you want a Santa Fe type of home, do it. If you want Native American artifacts, if you want, Persian or Egyptian or Mexican, you can do whatever theme you want to. You can make each room a little different theme if you want to. And that way you'll have an otherworldly type of a vortex. It's like, I'm going to go into my little Italian villa bathroom, and I'm going to go over here to my, French countryside paint colors and everything kitchen. I mean, you can actually do like a whole global perspective in your house so you can have different moods. It's fun. I've done it.
Yeah.
So start with color.
I'm trying to do that.
Okay, so just start with color. I think that'll help you. But you got a great card. I mean, you got an initiation card. Now, I will give you one more piece of advice on that card. Its full bloom happens when the sun enters Libra at the autumn equinox. So if I had to give you a timeline, I would say that you will call in the autumn equinox time and just say, wow, what a difference. What a difference a season makes. What a difference. I've embraced my power. I have embraced my power, Mary and Joe. It's autumn. It's the sign of Libra. I'm at that third week of September, and I'm loving life. Yeah.
That's a good read, Ashley.
Yeah. It's definitely,
that's a good one.
Yeah. It's definitely
Thank
been
you, Ashley.
I
love your loyalty.
Hey, when you get a new partner, just say, look here, I'm going to decorate this place. You know what? I really don't see how dudes have a say-so in that. I mean, dudes should have their own man cave or whatever. If you're a dude.
Oh yeah,
partner.
give them a place. Yeah, when you get your new main squeeze, say to them, see this over here? I would like you to put your signature on that. I want that to be a place that you're really comfortable, because they're like Gibran wrote about in The Prophet, let there be spaces in your togetherness. You can still be in the same residence together and trust each other enough to be comfortable enough to be in the same place and still give each other some space. It's like one of you's working, the other one's relaxing, but you've got that emotional comfort of they love me, they're here. I mean, that's nice. It's just kind of, it's nice. Or you go make them a snack, or it's like they don't get all offended if you go get a snack, and you don't get offended if you say, hey, I'm going to make a snack. You want something? And then they go, no, I'm good. Instead of well, why didn't you bring me something back? I mean, that's just so petty. Let them, just make it all okay. Yeah. That's when we really let our hair down, Ashley, when we can just let each other be each other and get rid of the demons of our past, or the ghost. It's like the Scrooge thing, the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, the ghost of Christmas future. Just let them go. They've been riding with us for too long.
There you go, Ashley.
Yeah, it's time to let it go.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
your
guys
call.
so much. And I want to give a shout out. To the Sisters in Arkansas. I know a couple of them are at board camp right now, so just want to send them my love.
How nice.
Oh, they're at the Crystal Mine. Cool. All right.
Yay.
Yeah.
Pick up one for us. Pick up a little one for us.
Yeah. Thanks for your call, Ashley.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Good night, sweetie. Sweet dreams.
Well, that was a pretty good reading. Let's see.
She deserved it.
248 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who are you speaking with? 248. Going once. I'm going to do the Art Bell thing. Going twice.
Yep.
Later. All right. Let's see.
That's right.
971 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who are you speaking with?
Hi, this is Sophia. Yay, it's my turn. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Sophia. Doing great.
It's my turn. That's effervescent.
I was hoping it was me next.
Thank you for the enthusiasm.
How are you guys doing?
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm really excited to talk to you guys tonight. Can't wait to get a card from you, Mary.
Thank you, honey. Thank you again. Thank you for the enthusiasm. It matters, We need that uplifted energy. Sometimes we're going to go through a valley, and we want to be right there with you or anybody else that's going through a valley and they don't feel like being so cheerful, but they can always be appreciative that in the late night there's somebody like Joe. When you can't sleep and you're sitting there blinking your eyelids wishing you could just escape it all, there's still someone like Art Bell did for many years that you can call and say, I got somebody I can talk to and I can find something out.
Amazing. Yeah, that's got amazing
insight. and chase my worries away. There's someone I can call and reach out to and chase my worries away. It's awesome. It's awesome. So your card is an 8. Which is the cosmic lemniscate, the infinity symbol, the figure 8 on its horizontal swirl, and it's the 8 of cups. So now we've moved from the fire element of the wands, rods, and we've moved into the chalice or the vessel or the water element. Now in this card, there is actually like a two-phased moon. There's like a full moon moving to crescent. So when we go to the full moon on June 4th, 5th, right after that full moon will be the first sliver, past the full moon, when it gets down to that first little smile on the sky. That could be a timing thing for you as the moon begins to wane in light from June 4th, 5th, going toward the next new moon over the summer solstice. So 8 is your number. It could be 8 days from now. There's a real emotional upliftment. 8 weeks from now is a major shift in your preference. But it's the 8 of cups, and so this is one of the cards of I've gone to my secret garden to meditate. This seeker has a big red cape on, like Little Red Riding Hood. There's like the red cape of the one that's on Vision Quest. That walking stick is with them, so we still kind of have the Ace of Wands because there's a walking stick in a hand, but they're at that beautiful. It's like the mountains, and when you have the stream in the mountains and how beautiful that is, on a full moon night. And he's this visionary has looked at the golden chalices, and he's very grateful and very appreciative for all that he has been blessed with. And there's a couple of gaps, and he's going to cut. Of course, those couple of gaps is when we get to the 10 of Cups. So he's very grateful for the abundance that's beginning and the security that's beginning to issue forth into his life. And so he's going to go do his part as an agent of compassion and kindness. And he's going to go out there and he's going to, as he gives, he will automatically receive. So there's something about the flow and the harmony of that smile that you give, that kind deed that you do, that volunteer thing that you do, the clothes you drop off at the thrift store that are, gently worn and cleaned, or items from your home. And it's just like, why don't I just go bless somebody else with that? Especially now with a lot of people that have had this shock wave of losing their jobs. Like people say, I don't think thrift stores are open because people won't think it's clean. They're packed. And I've been taking things there. And there's more free food there for people. I love that about my area. Like stores, they're like taking free food and they're actually putting it so it can be discreet on the thrift store's little window box where the flowers are. So they put it there between 3 and 5 so any family can just walk up and take it for free. That's what we need to do. Joe mentioned a year ago, whatever happened to that pay it forward, random acts of kindness?
That was
now.
great.
It's now.
You got to do that again.
It's back.
Y'all remember that?
It's back.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So that's what you've got right here. It's like you don't owe anybody anything. You don't have to do it, but in your own enthusiasm and your own energies, like, yay, it's my turn. What little thing can you do that can absolutely shift without expectation? If you run across somebody that's just sad or got a snarl on their face, you don't have to actually see them thank you or change the snarl. It can just be like you open the door and let them come out first. They may just grunt when they walk by you. That's okay. That's okay. You still did the act of kindness, didn't you? So it's that. It's like you don't owe anybody an act of kindness, but when you do it from your free will and from your soul star, we're starborn. We are starborn creatures that had supernatural currency blown into us to animate our earth body. So this is about maybe mountains. I don't know if you're longing to travel into some mountains, but either meeting someone from a mountainous area or you going. It's soon.
Yes,
It's
Are you
soon.
going to the mountains for real? Did she just guess that?
We're trying to go to the redwood forest in July because
Good.
we moved from Portland to Ontario, and I'm in a little desert town where I am definitely challenged. I'm a Virgo sun, Libra moon, and so being around people that's in a different mentality than my husband and I, it's been super hard to be kind to them and adapt and say, you know what, I'm not going to like judge you because you don't get what I mean, or your energy isn't, or you're this or you're that. But as I'm trying to be more compassionate, I am seeing the rewards and the people bringing me things that I don't even expect them to bring me, but I feel definitely so blessed being here, regardless if it's not my area. But we miss the mountains, my husband and I, so much. So yeah, we're trying to make a trip this next July to the Redwood Forest with our family for a camping trip. So
perfect time to do it.
Perfect
time to do it. When you do something that will emotionally enrich you, when we're coming into the season of a new moon in Cancer and the full moon in its balance sign of Capricorn, anything that traditionally soothes our soul or relaxes us or gives us the best of our emotional. That's why so many kids like fireworks over July 4th. Yeah. Animals not so much, but kids and families, or fishing or whatever it is. It's because summer used to, for a lot of people, represent I'm out of school. I mean, it's been a shockwave that kids got dumped out of school, and for the first time they're thinking, wow, I wish I could go to school. It's just weird. So for you to get back into that vortex, I think a lot of things got shaken and ripped and taken away from us because Mother Nature said, you know what, it's my turn. I'm going to clean my valleys and I'm going to clean my skies, and you're not going to get to drive every day on the freeway like you think you're going to. It's my turn. If you don't think I can't shake you little creatures off my little round ball, think again. Watch what I can do. So getting back to the mountains, or, we're going to be looking at the mountains and the lake and the trees in a whole different way with how we've been shut-ins,
Fantastic.
And those states that are opening up, they're, it's like they're looking at it like, wow, look at California and look at other places that they're being so strict about letting the people get out, or they're condemning them. They're like casting aspersions upon people. You're in New York, you better not do, but they're very peopled. Think about it. There's a whole lot of people there. So like the divisiveness, the bigger the city is, the more divisiveness is going on right now. So, it's like the old Beatles song, get back, JoJo, get back to where you once belonged. And that's love, and that's the star creatures that we are. We've got to start being the ambassadors of light and love, or the darkness is going to overtake. So, light has to win. Your crowning glory has to win.
Absolutely beautiful.
So go to the mountains.
Yes,
go to the mountains. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do it.
Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you, and blessings to your husband.
So much. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks, honey.
you. Both of you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Go to the mountains. That sounds nice. That actually does sound nice.
It is nice.
All right.
Why do you think a mystic lives in the mountains?
Make sure you guys turn your radio down in the background too, if you can, please. Looks like we got 501 area code. You're on the air.
Hi there.
Who are we speaking
with? How are you doing? Sammy.
Sammy. Hey, what's up?
I just wanted to say thank you guys, for all that you do. It's a blessing to every one of us. And I want to let Mary know that she was spot on last year about my daughter and the issue going on there. And I'm just looking for any message that comes forward tonight.
Sammy, first off, thank you. Joe and I have said many times we love it when the audience calls in and gives us validation of how it might have helped shift something in a more positive way, or certainly take some anxiety off of people. So thank you for that, number one. You got the Queen of Cups, which is the Queen of Hearts. So we're staying with the Cups suit with you, just like we just had for Sophie. And so the Queen of Cups, she's got an intuitive, visionary streak in her. It's like, I would say with you, I don't know if you've ever tried either scrying with a mirror or a crystal ball, or any kind of like where you're actually maybe holding a certain crystal, or you know how to look for signs in nature, like all of a sudden you see, oh, there's an acorn, I know, but that's a nature totem. I'm going to go look that up. I know that's my sign, or the bird you save, or the totem that shows up for you in creature form. But I specifically am seeing you like maybe try to do, speaking of Raymond Moody again, he did books on that, and I'm sure there's YouTube videos and online stuff with it, but about, there's a name for it, there's a fancy name for it, like the transmantium, but he built like a way that we did this like little real simple room where there's like complete dark with just a mirror in your house, and you go in there with the dark little curtains, like the curtains you can find at big box stores that block the light, and you use just like shower rods, and you go in there with like a little table and a mirror and a candle, and you light the candle in front of the mirror, and all you can see in there is your face in the mirror. And he was working with that to do like past life revelations, like you just sit there comfortably and look at your face in the mirror, and you just kind of like meditate and breathe, but that's a form of divination called scrying, and you can also do that with like a clear crystal ball, like the old-fashioned ways of looking in the crystal ball to receive symbols or messages. You also could try it with coffee grounds or tea leaves, the old-fashioned tea leaf reading. But somehow I'm seeing that there's some type of a thing that's going to be both recreational and very informative for you. Do you do any of that now?
Hold on, we got a little audio issue here. Go ahead, Sammy. Do you do any of that now? Sorry.
Yes, yeah. I'm working on true crime. I do a lot of podcasting and stuff like that, trying to help the wrongfully convicted. But it's bringing me into lots of other stuff. But I feel like I'm kind of on this wave right now of, I don't even know what to call it, but I'm not content. I'm doing the best I can with it, and I just kind of let it roll because I do have a cause, and I want to stick to it,
Well, it's somehow
ultimately, the paranormal is my love.
Okay. Somehow I feel like that your guides, and it's like kind of a shifting of a guard in a sense, that there's some additional supernatural conduits or messengers that are wanting to come through. So find a venue that you can kind of focus on more, whether it's what's the message in my tea leaves or the candle in front of the mirror, or like I'm not saying it would just be astrology or just be oracle cards or just be tarot. I feel like this is more almost like automatic writing or mediumship, or you're actually having the divine messenger show up in a lucid dream. I mean, it's like this feels like it's more direct contact is the way I'm getting it. So you may try the mirror, if you can get your room dark enough, you can try just sitting in the dresser or sitting at the little table with just a candle in front of a mirror. It's like you're sitting there, and the candle allows the bottom of your chin to kind of light up, and just stare in the mirror and just say, I give thanks for my hallowed protection. I give thanks for the messengers that wish to come forth to me at this time, and I honor and bless my ancestral lineage. Because it kind of feels like that it's got a lot to do with those on the other side that appreciate your mission and your dedication, because you have a lot of dedication. I really like the way you have stick-with-itness. You really have stick-with-itness. And let's not rule out, you got the Queen of Hearts, you got the Queen of Cups, so it could be that there is a female supernatural guide that's wanting to kind of anchor in and work with you and help your paranormal studies or interests.
Queen of Cups is my card. It comes up in tarot as my card.
Okay, so thank you for that confirmation. Well, that means that the power right now, not that you're power hungry or seeking applause, but the power right now and the directive is yours. So as you're feeling it and seeing it, if the card you got tonight is the card you see yourself and choose for yourself in the tarot, the Queen of Cups, then I would say, remember the cup is the heart, then I would say trust what your heart's eyes and your heart's urges are gifting you. They're going to gift it to you. And to me, I really do feel when I'm doing clairvoyant work that the soul star of a person hangs out. It likes to hang out in the magnetic field of the heart. The scientist used to say that the brain had a very large magnetic field around it, but now they've discovered that the heart emanates the strongest magnetic field. And so that's what we need to be focusing on with this supercharged Gemini New Moon. It's like there's all kinds of ways to express ourselves. Sometimes it's what we don't say, and sometimes it's how we let our presence be the perception that another person gets from us. You know, it's like sometimes we don't say anything, but we just give a really nice warm hug, and it speaks volumes, you know. Sometimes by just putting our hand on someone's back when they're, you know, like holding space for them, or when they're wanting to express something that's very deep for them, or we reward them with like pulling them in closer when they've expressed a little bit of shyness or vulnerability with us. It's just like, I got you. It's okay. I'm a safe person in your life. Yeah. Or just nodding our head. You know, it's like that confirmation. Although Gemini is word power, it's more to do with how we're received and how we perceive. So if we want to give someone the perception that we are a safe, powerful, supernatural conduit for them, whether it's romance or business, you know, it's just like, let people feel your presence, and then the revelations will come.
Yeah. Thanks for your call.
I think revelations and solutions come with trust. They really do.
Yeah, thanks for your call, Sammy. And, by the way, you're looking mighty good in that shirt you got. Thanks for your call. Appreciate it. Yeah, so we have to, let's see where we're at here. Sammy, okay. Looks like 808 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, this is Karen in Maui. How are you doing?
Karen in Maui.
Maui. How is Maui with everything that's going on? Did you guys get locked down or no? I mean, you're like in the Isle of Paradise. Did you get locked down?
Yeah, we still are. It's really,
you still are.
Our unemployment rate is really high, and they're just opening beaches. A lot of the beaches aren't open. We're on a 2-week trial right now to be able to sit on the beach. We were not allowed to sit on the beach. We had to exercise on the beach, like walk or exercise. And there were drones that were telling people to move along, to stay distanced. It's been a really strange police-like state here.
Yeah, I was going to say this is just my perception. It's just me. I'm not good with the Gestapo stuff. I'm not good with, like sky police and stuff like that. It's like, okay, and I'll just say this and I'll let it go. Then you're going ahead in some states and you're letting out actual rapists and child predators and killers. You're letting them out of jail because you're worried they might get the corona. But then you're going to have a drone fly along one of the most beautiful, clean beaches in the world with fresh air and tell people, keep moving, keep moving. It's just like, yeah, I'll give you some moving. Let me get my baseball bat. I'm not good with that.
I think yesterday or the day before we went to the beach, and they had National Guard on the beach. There were 5 people on the beach, including my son and I, and they had National Guard. They were walking the beach, giving people information, like fully dressed, giving them information about what the mayor's proclamation is and how we should be behaving on the beach. And
it's so good I wasn't there. I would get in trouble.
Distance.
Yeah, I'd get in trouble.
Yeah.
I would get in trouble. I'm not telling you to get in trouble. I know me. I know why God's not putting that around me, because I would get in trouble. I mean, I would just go, really? Do you feel good? How good do you feel about yourself right now?
Have y'all picked up on Mary's violence tonight? It's been baseball bats, car doors.
Oh, no, it's not violence. It's just... I walk my truth. I don't hide it, and I sure ain't going to mask it. Yeah.
Just mess with you,
Yeah.
Oh, I'm definitely a mountain. I'm definitely a mountain liberated freedom girl. Oh, yeah. Well, here's good news. It's interesting you mentioned the unemployment thing, because what you got, we've shifted suits again and elements. What you got, it's such a beautiful card in this deck, is you got the opulent, and her totem on this card is the bird with 1,000 eyes, the peacock, so all those colors. But you got the 9 of Pentacles, and so you wear it well. You're very balanced. The 9 and the 10 of Pentacles, you're getting into those suits of opulence and prosperity, and the grapevines are full. So you think about grape seed oil on your salad, how healing that is right now. Think about the grapes that make the wine, or grape jelly, or eating actual grapes right now. There's something to do with that. And it can be green grapes or purple grapes. She's got both in her hand. But there's something to do about, there's a newfound richness and wealth that I see coming around you. So it's an idea whose time has come. It's going to be good news to do with you and your son. I mean, there's something, I just keep hearing the worst is over, which is odd for me sitting here listening to you, hearing about drones and National Guard, but my guides are blasting through and saying, I don't care what the outer appearances look like, the worst is over, and she's coming into the currency and the cycle of opulence and success. So I don't know if you've been mulling over an idea or branching out into something else, but I definitely see divine prosperity and protections around you.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Thank you. I actually, that's, I'll tell you something funny. Anybody that's listening right now that, this is the first time listening to Mary or anything, I'm sitting here wrapped in a sarong that is a peacock print.
Thank you.
In purple, honey.
Thank you, guys.
That's crazy. I don't know how you pick up on that. Thanks for a call. I told y'all Mary was the real deal. I told you, didn't I?
Listen, waves of love are being sent to you, and don't be surprised if you don't see those drones much longer, because I'm so glad you told me about it, because it gives me something to cast forth in the mountains out here with my little Scorpio wand of like, oh, no, you didn't. So, yeah, thank you for that.
All right, so let's see. We got 2 479s here. I'm going to go with 479, and then, just 479 502. How about that?
Sweet. Hey, Joe and Mary.
Howdy. Who are we speaking with?
Hi.
This is Misty, the sister of the North.
How you doing?
I'm down here in Polk County. Doing great. I've had a great, amazing night, experiencing so many extraordinary things down at the Crystal Mine and back at camp and tuning in, and I was so excited to get through.
That is exciting. That is exciting, Misty, that you're around all the stone people, all the stones. I don't know if you heard the other gal that called Ashley when she did a shout-out to you guys, said some of the sisters were out at the Crystal Mines, but I said, just pick up a tiny little thing for Joe and I. Just pick up a tiny little thing for us. Just let us be in your tribe.
I know. Expect the package.
Yeah. You got a great card. We're going back to the original suit of the night. You got I love this card. This is the Four of Wands, or the Four of Rods in this deck, and it's the one that the 4 directions have been decorated with the garland and the fruits and the flowers, and there's a celebration getting ready to happen on the grounds of the home or the castle. And in the Hebraic world, it's the Sukkoth. It's like the beginning of their, at sunset, the celebration to go into some of the Jewish holidays. So this has to do with where they fast, So this has to do with the preparations of a celebration. So there's something that's going to be very, very much appreciated by you, that you have the eyes that are seeing the gifts that you have to offer, maybe some of the handcrafting that you do, or how your creativity blooms in your life and your world. Your divine messengers are going to be giving you some specific insights of maybe what to paint or draw or wire or craft, or it's just something that I see an expansion because of people getting you, like they really get you, kind of a thing, like they get what your passion is. This is all wrapped up with your passion.
Yes.
Yeah, it's integral. I mean, it's intertwined, and like the garland that I see and roses are very present here, the white and the red roses. So maybe the essential oil of rose or rose wood, maybe doing some rose hips oil or supplements, or actually, if you can find it, find a non-hybrid rose. Like instead of just the way the rose looks, go find the rose that's growing wild that actually still has the scent. That's the one you want to plant. That's the one you want to put at your homestead or your business, because it will, if it's got the scent, then in the fall it'll produce rose hips. So you'll be able to start growing your own rose hips. And it's very powerful stuff. I found them in the mountains. I got them growing all over now. And every autumn, like November, I get those bright red-orange rose hips, which I collect in a little glass jar and put in the freezer. And then you take them out in your cold winter months, and you put whatever tea that you like or hot water on the rose hips, and it's like 20 times more powerful than any vitamin C pill you could take. And you can grow it. You can just find wild growing roses, smell them, Doesn't matter what color they are, smell them. Mine happen to be that two-tone pink because they're the Appalachian roses. They're like heirloom out here, and it's just incredible. And then, of course, the rose petals. You know, you make your own potpourri. You can put them in a little pouch and sleep with it under your pillowcase, and you'll like an envelope, and you'll sleep so good. You know, like a little handkerchief or something. So I keep feeling the rose smell and the rose oil and the rose power with you. Have you been drawn to roses?
I have. In fact, it's weird. I've switched my shampoo and conditioner over to a rose-scented brand.
Well,
and I've been digging it, digging it.
You sound herbal enough, Misty, that you've heard about Dr. Bronner's. It's been around for decades. Dr. Bronner's liquid Castile soap?
Yes.
They now have a rose one, and the label's pink. But because all campers know about the peppermint one and the lavender one, and I'm going to tell you all now, if you have never used Dr. Bronner's all-natural liquid Castile soap, do not bathe your private bits and parts with full-strength peppermint liquid Castile soap because you will feel a rocket inside your body. Do not do that. It says all over the bottle,
Mary.
Dilute. Well, I used to use it to bathe horses, to ride horses for free. When I lived in Florida, I would go bathe all the horses for them, and the horses would just shake and they were dry. And I still bathe my dogs with the peppermint in summer, but like an idiot, I didn't read the label, and I jumped in the shower and said, oh, it's so nice, I'm going to bathe with peppermint. It's like, holy mother of God. Yeah, okay, I know every part of my body now. So, yeah, and you will smell like a peppermint kiss for like a month after that. So it's like internally and externally. So I've warned you.
Thanks, Misty, for your call. We got to get these calls moving. We are lowering on time here. Looks like we got another 479 area code. Who are we on the air with? Who are we speaking with?
Hey, it's Jessica, the Gemini from the West.
The West.
I've got my witches on the phone tonight. Yay, the sisters. Okay, I'll do this quick because Joe told me to. You got the Seven of Swords. We've jumped into swords, so you're leaving something behind. Sevens are always mystical. He's got 5 of the swords up over his shoulder, and he's walking to the left, which lets me know that it's a burden that has been a little heavy on your shoulders, a little hard to shoulder. I feel like you're getting ready to wrap a bow up on that, and it's going to be an episode in your past. 2 swords remain. When you look at the tarot, if the 5 swords are in the shadows and going to the left, the 2 swords still sit on the right, and that's what remains. Well, the 2 of swords has a lot to do about reflection with indecision. So there's something that you've got to make a decision on, or it's been hard to make a decision on, or you're seeking mystical guidance on, besides this, but within your own self. Do you know this? Have you been like in a bit of a perplexing puzzle?
Are you being very, very sneaky? Maybe.
No, not being sneaky.
Yeah, it can have to do with spying, too.
Okay. Like it's that rebirth.
Classic rebirth situation.
Okay, well, it's like you're not a caterpillar anymore.
Spread your wings and fly.
No, far from it. It's that initial jump.
Do it.
Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Do it.
Too. Yeah, spread your wings and fly. That's happening to a lot of folk right now. All right. Let's see. Yeah, we got time for one more. This might be it, though. 708 area code. You're on the air with Mary Dusina. Who are you speaking with?
Hey, guys. This is Dan in Colorado.
Dan in Colorado, not Chicago, but Colorado now. That's fantastic.
Nice to hear from you, Dan. Thank you for your loyalty, by the way, because I like it that the loyals make the effort to call in. How nice of you.
Are you calling back to verify the last thing that you called about?
Well, no, I actually have a pressing question.
Oh.
So
shoot.
This week, I'll make it quick. So basically, I was planning to change apartments because my current place asked me to. So I found a great new place, was very excited about it. Then when I told the current landlords, they kind of begged me to stay, changed their mind, and gave me they gave me a much lower rent. So I'm sort of torn between the place I was excited about that's slightly more expensive, or the place I've been at, which is now all of a sudden much cheaper. So I'm curious what you think.
That's the old earth bribing you to stay. Go where the excitement is. That's my thing.
I heard the whole list in your energy about the new place, and my concern, you got the 10 of Cups. So really, you've got a rainbow coming out of a golden chalice in this deck heading over to the right. My feeling is the world's your oyster right now, but I don't like it that they ask you to leave. And then when you finally find the vortex after your stress, and it's like, oh no, look, okay, my bad. Here, we'll reduce it. But let me just ask you to ask yourself a question once you get off this call. If you're incredibly honest with yourself, the place that you were living at before they, air quotes, asked you to leave, did you really like it? Did you really love it? Did you feel like it was a thrive vortex? Because I'm feeling
not quite.
Yeah. I feel like the new place, like to Joe's point, I feel like the new place is the 10 of Cups. And even though it's a little more expensive, you might say to them, I really like this place. And I just tell them the truth and just say, what's weird is the place don't give them the whole story, but what's weird is the moment I told my landlords that I found a great place and I was going to move, they said, no, stay here, we'll reduce your rent. So it's like, are you real stuck on the price? I mean, is there any kind of like little reduction I could get? I'm just asking. I don't mean to insult anybody.
There you go.
You know, if I sign 6 months, can it be a little bit cheaper? If I pay an extra month down, can I get a little bit of a monthly consideration? If not, then I'm just trying to make my decision and look at everything because there's nothing wrong with your place. I really like it. I just feel like maybe it's like you're not coming in as a tightwad. You're coming in as somebody that really is complimenting the place, and it's just like just kind of put a whole new spin on things, but yet I'm really drawn to your place. And just see.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Well, there you go, brother.
Because your card is good.
It's just tough. It's tough with these times. You want to save money in any situation possible, so that's why I'm a little torn.
But if that's based in fear. But if that's based in fear, that's not good. So if the new place, for example, would be closer to places where you could market whatever you do and however you do it, if the new place has more excitement as far as closer locale, more people that would be interested in what your talents are, then you're already going to be making more money.
Yeah. Abundance, brother. Money flows. It lands in your pocket, so you don't have to worry about it.
Amen.
I feel good about the new place. Let me know. But I would go negotiate it in a very respectful way.
You know what? Thanks, Dan. We really gotta get this going. Thank you, brother.
Okay, thank you, Dan.
Colorado, yeah. I forgot that he moved to Colorado. It's like, and I don't think, I have to do this because it's a Gemini new moon before we get out of here. And I know there's like 4 callers waiting, and I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry, but I need you to pull like
book a reading
card.
with me. They could listen. I do this free every month. It's time for people to step up and get invested in the mystic too.
Just pull a card for the station before we get out of here, if you can.
Okay.
Please.
Right now. All right. Ooh, I got the 7 of Cups. So there's some things up in the air, but there's a lot of new ideas popping out of the chalices. It's just that it's going to come down to a choice thing. But I think the 7. We can't rule out that it also has to do with the third eclipse in July. You know, so remember the third eclipse in July, Joe, ties back to January because July 4th, 5th will be the full moon in Capricorn. That's the moon of business. You ask about the station and the business aspect of it. That's the only full moon in Capricorn this year. This year opens and closes with the full moon in Cancer. So it's about really letting the emotional flow of compassion and action and kindness keep happening. But I feel like by that July 4th, 5th full moon in Capricorn, I feel like that's when there's like a lot of things are settled and it's a very abundant type of thing and it's just everything's beginning to roll. But there needs to be like an emotional foundation of security, like you feeling secure with honoring yourself as well as the people, you know?
Absolutely. That's perfect and spot on. Any final words about this energy before we get out of here?
I'd like to just close with an illumination. You can find me on Facebook on Cosmic Conditions or marydusina.com. But I just want to close with this illumination, given we've been going through so much since the lockdown started on March 14th. I have kinship and friendship beyond the world of the humans. Spirit loves me, and I allow the love of Spirit. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you guys for calling in. I know that's a much faster Mary show, but this is what we got to do. New Moon, we'll be back. We'll be back next week. You guys have a good weekend. See you in the chats. MaryDusina.com, MaryDusina. MaryDusina.com. Get some readings, change your life, get some help. We'll be back next week. Have a good weekend. Good night.
On this program do not necessarily reflect those of the Fringe FM, KTLK Digital Broadcasting, its sponsors, affiliates, or staff. Listener discretion is advised.